Hello, it's Ainsley from A Mama with Trauma. Um, Today I wanted to talk about trauma when it comes up and when your kid's home and the complexity of that. Just a disclaimer that this page is not to create any ill will or attacks or anything like that towards the people who harmed me. Like, they're there and doing their thing. This page is simply just for me to basically come on and be honest and vulnerable, and also to kind of go back and watch some of these videos to see what I need reflected back to me, and hear how I'm processing my trauma and dealing with it, with my motherhood being a primary source of, or really the catalyst of why I am doing all of this work and finding myself and healing. Um, I was really honestly disappointed in myself yesterday for not creating any content. I struggled really badly with that. My child was home, also my partner was home, or my husband was home, and um but I still felt like I was kind of betraying myself and not creating content. Um, Also, it was an incredibly painful and difficult day as far as like processing my trauma. Since I started making these videos, um, they're doing what I needed them to do, which is basically kind of disrupt and stir up things that I'm not able to really access in my normal thought pattern. So when I say things out loud, I take bits and pieces when I go back and watch these videos, and I'm like, oh wow, okay, yeah, I hear that. I hear what I need to work on, or what we need to work on. And when I say we, I mean like all my parts inside. But yesterday there was such a heavy push on my sexual abuse. Um like looking at it and processing it, and just now as I'm saying it, like there's a burning in my like insides, like in my heart and in my gut. It's just like it feels like fire just saying this stuff out loud, because uh I haven't really been able to be in a safe space to process a lot of this, and now that I am, uh part of me is very protective of that and doesn't want me to remember or want me to even look at a lot of this, because it's tragic and it's treacherous and it's disgusting and it's painful and it's gonna hurt and it's gonna break my heart. And basically that part of me is trying to protect myself from going through that again. But in the reality, to heal trauma, like, I have to break my own heart. I have to go to those places as a and present in my present self, go back to those places and revisit them and almost kind of like relive them, but with the lens of all the stuff that I have learned. Basically, one of the main things being to love, and how to go to these traumatic parts of me with love and care, and just be there. So there was so much agony yesterday. There were so, and I'm so sad now. Like, I have so much sorrow and pain right now, remembering what it was that I was processing, and the level of harm that was done to me. My sexual abuse started when I was a baby. Um, Immediately, like being born, the person who abused me significantly and most of the time was my mom. And you know, she got away with it because just because of the person that she is, and her own uh just her her own makeup. Like, she's really good at making people see things her way. And so also my daughter was home. I have a young kiddo, and I could feel in my body that there were so many moments where I just needed to like sit down and let this like these emotions like wash over me. And it's so challenging to choose between, for me, it's so challenging to choose between me needing to like let my emotions out, uh and my parts just like saying these things with my trauma and need to cry, and also having my child in the home as well, and her seeing me go through this. And um it hits too close to home. It really is. The complexity of trauma and how it affects not only the person that the trauma was done to, but the people who are in close proximity to the person dealing and processing the trauma. Like, how complex that is, and how layered it is, and how it's not easy. But one of the things that I have to keep telling myself, and the thing that I hold on to the most, is how much my child loves me, and how much that love, and what I could remember of my own love that I had once for my mom, despite the abuse, is how far and wide and large it was, and the capacity of forgiveness and understanding and even empathy. And I just try to rest in the brilliance of that. um she really didn't bother me, and I mean, I kind of cried a little bit, but overall it was still so difficult to be in the presence of something so vile going on within my own self, and heart-wrenching and disgusting, but also to have like my present self, my very innocent child, come stand next to me and just kind of lean up against me. And the weight of that, and being in those two places at once, is very overwhelming. And I don't know if this is like a common thing when you deal with trauma and also your family, but I just wanted to share it, that the ebb and the flow of when memories come up, or when my body is telling me like, hey, we need to like let this out, and you need to like, we need to face this. And I kind of look back and I'm like, wow, this whole time I've known that, but I haven't, like, I didn't want to accept it. I didn't want to accept the abuse. I didn't want to accept the the magnitude of what was done to me, and at that level, and being that young. And I mean, continued to continue well into my adulthood. It just grew into so many, it covered so many facets: food, my body, identifying with my own gender, Most of the time I look back now and I realize I was simply an accessory to my mom's existence. I wasn't a person. And the recognition of that, but also, okay, yes, so how do I feel like a human? How do I recognize my own value and worth despite never, ever, ever in anywhere I looked have seen that reflected back to me, not in my mom or my dad or my brother or any of my extended family. It just I, I just never saw it reflected back in a way that made sense to me and made me feel safe and secure. Trauma is not an easy thing to navigate, but it is doable. It's very much doable. It's one is able to process the trauma. I believe so much that every individual is built specifically to handle processing their own trauma. It's scary and painful, yes, but I intrinsically believe that the body and the mind and the spirit, when if a person decides to go down that and really like do that work, it's amazing to see how things slowly start working together, and like the trust that is built within oneself and the hearing and the sensitivity to like truly know yourself and be okay with that and to sit with that, but then not to go too deep or get too caught up in that, also to be present in your, like in my daily life with my and my relationships with my daughter and my husband, and um it's so it's so much sometimes. It's just so much. So I'm not even sure if any of this made sense, but I wanted to come on and at least make some content for the day and be vulnerable and real, and know that if anyone who watches this, and if you are going through some really difficult times, like, you are not alone, and you really can, and you have everything you need to get through it, to be in it, not to escape it, but to be in it and like heal. This is Ainsley from A Mom with Trauma. Have a good day.